I absolutely will never, ever share the pussy.
I'm ready.
Hello, and thank you for listening to the Maximum Mediocrity Podcast. My name is David Shockley.
And I'm Morgan Miller.
And today we are joined by the queen of the local racetrack. We have Liz. How are you doing today?
I'm great today, David. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And just so the audience knows at home, so for lack of a better word, you are a race car driver.
That is correct.
How does that feel to be able to say that you have the coolest fucking job title ever?
Well, it feels pretty sweet, I gotta say. And I do like telling it to people who would never expect it of me. Because it's not my day job, and my day job is a lot more boring. But my weekend job is the cool one.
That's awesome. And just so we're clear, you are in fact a woman.
Yes.
Incredible. A female race car driver. I love that. That's awesome. That's pretty unique.
It is.
Do you see a lot of other female race car drivers?
We have probably 4 or 5 out of a total membership of 100 and something plus.
Okay.
In the club that I race with.
Right on.
I am not sure that you're aware, but race car spelled backwards is also still race car.
No shit.
Mind blown over here. Morgan, what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I was little, I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Veterinarian, that's a great one. What are some other job titles that like kids immediately go to? We have like police officer,
Pirate,
ninja, race car driver,
doctor,
astronaut. That's it. You out of that list?
I found one. I'm working on pirate.
You're working on pirate. How far has pirate come along?
Ooh, pirate is not coming along very well because I cannot do the voice.
But have you gotten any of the booty yet?
That's for another podcast, I think.
Oh, man. When I was a kid, I was weird. I wanted to become an archaeologist.
Yo, same.
Right? Really?
Yeah. I went to our school for archaeology.
Huh?
Yeah.
They have school for that? I guess they would have school, right?
Yes.
You went to school for archaeology?
Yeah.
College?
Yeah. Locally, to our local college here. I went for, my major was anthropology, but I concentrated in archaeology.
Wow.
I worked in the archaeology lab on campus for about 3 years, cleaning and classifying artifacts. Started out volunteering and then eventually got a paid position there. I went on a couple digs as well, which was pretty fun. It was pretty rad. Yeah.
So I'm not going to ask any more questions about race car driving.
Okay.
We're now into
We're
this
now in an archaeology podcast.
Did you
two of your favorite jobs in the world?
This is the best. Leave some pussy for the rest of us, Liz.
I absolutely will never, ever share the pussy.
Have you or have you not touched dinosaur parts?
Ooh, that's paleontology.
I was really close, okay?
You were, but I did do some demonstrations on that because it's basically the same thing.
You're still
Except
touching
that-
old stuff.
You're a little less careful with it because it's all rocks. Archaeology stuff gets a little more broken, but paleontology, it's all just a rock anyway.
Huh. And because I thought that archaeology also was involving dinosaur bones. So what is the...
Ooh, archaeology is human paleontology, basically. So paleontology is dinosaurs and fossils. Archaeology is human remains and historical artifacts and things like that. So I worked around here locally at a colonial site excavating a mansion, basically, and like figuring out its floor plan, figuring out all of the things that they had used. We found a lot of pottery, found a lot of we found a pistol.
Whoa.
Found an old pistol.
Does it
We
still
found an
work?
old... We didn't try. We figured that was probably not the best choice, because either it would kill one of us or kill someone, within about a 4-foot range, because it's an old pistol.
It would have been worth it.
That's about as far as they go.
Would have been worth it.
But we found an old campaign badge. That was pretty cool.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, from early 1800s. I don't remember exactly when. But that's about when the house was inhabited.
They were voting back then.
Oh, yeah. Not the women.
Not the women. Some of them were voting.
Not the women and not the black people. But someone was voting.
Someone was. That leaves like 4 people in the town left.
I feel like there was a lot of white men. A whole bunch of them.
How many do you think?
At least
Too
12.
many.
Too
As
many.
always.
Well, if it was local, I feel like it was definitely a whole bunch of and
Yeah, we were not. I mean, we weren't super duper a slave state, so a lot of white people around here.
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I'll drink to that. Cheers to too many white people.
I
Cheers.
agree.
So I did a shot of gin. I'm a little under the weather today, and for some reason, one time somebody told me that a gin and tonic, like 2 gin and tonics, can help you get over a cold. And so it's completely wrong information, I assume. But ever since then, I'm like, oh, I have a cold? Better get some gin. You shouldn't shoot gin. That was horrible. What did you take a shot of, Morgan?
I did absinthe, and I gotta tell you, it was terrible.
And I got to tell you, we were talking earlier about how much Morgan does not like licorice, but likes absinthe and likes fennel, which is licoricey. And we were making fun of her because she definitely was not proving herself right about not liking licorice. But I just watched her face taking that shot, and she does not like licorice. I can report.
It's gross.
Could you describe the face?
Ooh, well, you ever seen Deadpool?
Yes.
That time when he takes off his mask. I think the number of wrinkles on Morgan's face as she was making her expression of disgust is approximately equal.
Wrinkly as an old belt.
Yeah.
As a ball sack, you might say.
As a ball sack.
I might say a ball sack. Or a really angry baby.
So, Liz, I want to ask you some questions about racing, even though I've now realized that this podcast can now go twice as long because being an archaeologist and a race car driver is like now the 2 coolest things ever.
I'm training to be Indiana Jones.
And
Oh my god.
when are you going to become an astronaut at this point?
Where's
Well,
the whip?
Where's that on the trajectory?
Where's the hat?
It's not going to be as part of Space Force, I'll tell you that.
Space Force!
I will be real with you. Being an astronaut was definitely one of my dreams. I have space tattooed on me.
Ooh.
And I fully intend to colonize Mars as soon as we have the opportunity. But
Are you the best at space?
I am mediocre at space.
Hey! Ding, 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 ding!
Have you ever read Ender's Game?
I have. Did you know that Orson Scott Card hated archaeologists
Why?
and anthropologists in general?
Because he's a
But
punk-ass bitch!
I read Ender's
Nice.
Game, and I made the mistake of reading his foreword to Ender's Game, and he dedicated several pages to how much he thought anthropologists were dickwads.
Whoa.
Man.
Yeah.
Why do you hate him so much?
I think he thought that they were overselling themselves and claiming to be able to know things about people that were not really knowable. And he thought of himself as someone who was able to know people, hence the themes of many of his works.
Huh.
But, just did not have a lot of respect for archaeologists or
Man.
anthropologists.
But the follow-up book after Ender's Game, they all go to Mars. Well, he goes to Mars. I thought you might like that.
Yeah, that's what I have on me, actually. I have a tattoo of Olympus Mons, which is the tallest volcano in the solar system. It's on Mars, visible from space.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's got a footprint the size of Arizona. It's like 2.5 times as tall as Mount Everest, something like that.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're bad at?
Cooking rice.
Lies. Because
No,
I've
I
had
like-
your rice, and it's great.
Okay, well, that was with a rice cooker. Did it
That
for
counts.
me.
That counts.
You'll have to pick a different one. That doesn't count.
You know?
I cannot whistle a tune.
Really? Can't whistle
Absolutely
tune.
not. No, I can barely whistle,
Huh. Interesting.
even a little.
Does it annoy you that the second that you say that you can't whistle, the people around you immediately start whistling?
I had to repress the urge. Because I am an excellent whistler.
What is that? Like, because I'm a good whistler, I think, too. I think we could make it, maybe do a duet, Morgan, at some
Ooh.
point.
It would be beautiful.
A whistling duet. But that has to happen every single time, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It doesn't annoy me so much as amuse me, because they always try and whistle a tune and I can never recognize what the song is, and I'm like, well, I can't whistle, but you sure can't whistle a tune. So
At least you're being nice by not whistling badly. That's
that's
a
fair.
gift to the
Saving
world.
everyone's ears by not just screeching like an owl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to ask you some questions about your racing.
Okay.
Really basic question. Could you just how did you know you wanted to become a race car driver? How did you get into it?
Sure. So I got into it because of my dad, which I think a lot of people do. But it was around about the time that I was getting my license, and he had been thinking about getting into this particular style of racing for a while. It's called autocross, what we do.
Okay. Could you describe autocross a little?
So autocross is a technical driving time trial event, which means two things. One, technical driving means it's focused on skills other than just putting your foot down on the gas pedal and going really fast in a straight line.
But that's my favorite part.
Well,
So left and right turns.
left and right turns.
That's a lot of
Oh,
turns.
God.
Jesus.
Slaloms, lots of sweepers, which are essentially a big U-turn. Lots of obstacle. It's basically a car obstacle course.
Is it all? It's all done on pavement though.
Yes, it's all
Okay.
done on flat pavement. There are similar events that are not done on pavement. So there's rallycross, which is more of a cross-country dirt style obstacle driving. But so we race on flat pavement, usually around 35 to 45 miles an hour, racing against the clock. So you're not like racing neck to neck with someone with you, and then scored against people who are driving similar cars to yours.
Got it, like different classes.
That is so fucking cool.
So you said it was your father that got into it, and I assume he's a race car driver as well.
He is. Yep. I just bought. He's been racing a Miata for the past 6 or 8 years, something like that, and I just bought a Miata too. So now we really match.
I love Miatas.
Yeah.
You know, could you say this now that we're on the topic of Miatas? Is it? I think that a Miata is the sexiest car ever.
Yeah.
I think it's the sexiest car because a lot of guys think that the sexy car is like the car with all the angles and like all the seriousness. And they just don't understand that women like soft edges. It's a gender neutral car. It's a car that looks fun. It looks it looks inviting. Whereas you have Lamborghinis and Ferraris that have all these angles and toughness. I know the new Miatas, they have some angry headlights on there. But
if you get one of the cute ones with the headlights that blink at you,
Oh!
then your car is even sexy winking for you.
Yep, you can get a car that winks at you. What is sexier than that?
Nothing.
So what I'm hearing is you would fuck a Miata.
I would fuck a Miata right down the tailpipe.
Oh,
Give me the fart can spoiler. We're going
I look
down.
forward to the burn unit story that ensues from that.
I'm working on a fan fiction actually
Oh, about fucking a Miata.
about fucking a Miata.
Okay.
so do you have to seduce the Miata? Is that how that goes?
Oh, the
Ooh.
Miata seduces me.
Yeah, that's what the
Oh.
winking is about.
Just checking.
Sexy winking.
I'm a classy lady, so it takes a few drives before I'm willing to give it up.
Ooh, okay. Does it put its top down for you?
Oh,
Oh.
immediately. Oh, girl. You don't
She's
even
not
know.
classy, is what you're telling me.
And a Miata always looks like it's smiling.
Yes.
It is.
They're the happiest cars.
They're the happiest cars ever. Every time you see one driving, you just look and you just go, "Oh, you're doing good."
And they're so little. You can just eat them up.
And a Miata is such a phenomenal car because it is a smaller car, but it can outperform so many faster cars than it because it's just so nimble and the 50-50 weight distribution.
Yeah, they're very popular for autocross style racing because they are fairly stable for their size with a lot of power. And since we are doing so much technical driving, what we're really looking for is ability to handle torque and produce torque. And so they're one of the better cars, one of the better, daily cars out there for doing that.
That's an interesting point that you make because it's a race car that you can daily. What about an S2000? Do you see a lot of those?
Oh yeah, we have probably 2 or 3 people who cycled in and out of the club while I've been with them, who've driven S2000s. One of our better drivers actually does race one. The S2000 drivers tend to do a lot more work to their cars though. We've got a lot of people racing pretty stock Miatas, but people like to play around with the 2000s a lot more.
That's interesting because I always found that Miatas were a very moddable car.
Oh, very, very moddable. But they're also very accessible. We definitely have people who do mod their Miatas, but we have a lot of people who the Miata is their fun sport car. They're planning, like you said, on dailying it as well. And so they don't need to do a lot to it to make it competitive.
I see.
Yep.
Why do you think people mod the S2000 a little bit more?
Well, I think that they are fun to play with as well. And I think that the people who tend to be interested in something like an S2000, which is a little less familiar maybe than a Miata, do tend to be the gearheads. I mean, they're the people who are going to mod any car that they buy. I just think it's a level of interest.
It's like a popularity contest.
Yeah,
The Miata's more popular. Everybody knows about it, so they're a little more accessible. So
I think it's just statistics. You know,
Yes.
the people who get into the stuff like we had someone who brought a Lotus out a while ago. We have a
wow, a Lotus Elise.
yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's cool. You don't see a lot of those.
That was pretty cool. We have one, the people who founded the club, actually, the guy who founded the club and his son run a mod shop around here, and they custom build caterhams for their clients, which are almost like a little Formula One cart. Like they're about as close as you can get to a little cart without actually not being a car.
Wait, a caterum.
Yeah.
What is that?
So it's a low. To be honest, that's the level of interest above mine.
That's okay. If you don't know.
It's the custom building. So they're a style of car that was produced by, I believe, a British company a few decades ago. But the company no longer exists, so they're not being produced factory. But the blueprints are still around, or the modeling is still around. So what they do is they build these custom cars off of these blueprints for their clients. I mean. And so what they'll do is they'll take them out to autocrosses to test drive them once they've got them put together.
It's like an open mic night at a comedy.
Yep, to give them a run before they pass them off to their customers.
Wow, so you see a lot of those coming through.
Yeah,
Very fast?
They're so fast. And it's partly because of their power, but also they're tiny. I mean, if you want to say a Miata's tiny, their wheelbase is probably a foot shorter or narrower than a Miata's, which means that they are just little.
And just for the people at home, a wheelbase, that's the distance from the front tires to the back tires.
Yep, and also the distance between the left and right tires on each side. So mostly for autocross, your width of your car is going to be your deciding factor, because a lot of our driving is cornering and passing through obstacles. Being able to generate a very technical and effective line through all of the obstacles is a lot easier to do when your car isn't so big that there's only one place you can go.
I understand. That makes sense. Do you see, this is maybe a very specific question, and we'll get off the technical stuff so that Morgan can actually ask a question.
I know nothing about cars.
Do you ever see any cappuccinos come through?
We
mean
have not
coffees?
had a cappuccino.
I would love to see a cappuccino.
Yeah?
A cappuccino is essentially...
I can make you one.
Could you?
Yes.
So a cappuccino, Morgan, a cappuccino car is like, it's kind of like what a scooter is to a motorcycle is a cappuccino to a real car. It's almost like an in-between. It's like smaller than a car just for small commuting. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I would say so.
Of kind of the class of the cappuccino.
And I mean, while we're on cappuccinos, I would say that a caterham is basically the racing equivalent of a cappuccino. It's not quite really a car.
Does it have 4 wheels?
It does have
it does
4
have
wheels.
4 wheels, yeah.
Is it
Both
road
do.
legal?
Yes.
Yep. Is it? I forget. Are the cappuccinos the ones that are small enough that you can pick them up and move them somewhere?
No, I
Okay.
don't believe so. I don't believe they're quite that small,
right.
but it's they're very, very small
Yeah.
cars.
They would be fun to drive, I think, because again, size is a little car is really fun to drive on an autocross course. It makes everything look huge.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're a woman that likes it a little smaller?
I would say that I don't want to feel the way an autocross course looks to a small car.
Oh, son of a bitch. Sorry, we haven't eaten very much. We just did that
I
shot.
see.
I'm getting a little loopy.
Last time I ate was at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, we have a bunch of chicken wings sitting right there that we haven't eaten yet.
See the chicken wings.
We'll get into it later.
Can't wait to taste
We
this.
could just turn this into a hot sauce podcast.
We did that once.
Yeah,
We did it. We did a hot sauce podcast. It was horrible.
I'm sure.
We
It
did
was
the-
awesome to listen to.
We did the last dab from
Yeah,
Hot
yeah,
Ones.
I'll never forgive you for not getting that on video for me.
Hey, I got it on audio. I got halfway there.
That's halfway, but
Hey,
I just wanted to see his face full of pain.
So shifting gears a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, funny car joke.
I understand that you like to cosplay a little bit
I do.
while you race. Could you talk more about that?
Oh, geez. So not full cosplay while I race, but when I got my first helmet, I was really into cosplaying. And so I got a helmet that was perfect for Speed Racer. And I made myself a Speed Racer helmet, and then I made the rest of the cosplay to go with it. And so I have attended an autocross in Speed Racer cosplay, but mostly I just bring the helmet. And let me tell you about the types of men who go to autocross and see a woman cosplaying Speed Racer.
They are just
let me not
gentlemen,
tell you
aren't
about
they?
them.
Knights in white
well,
armor.
That was the talk of the town for a while after. let's
Really?
say. Oh, yeah.
You made quite the impression with Speed Racer?
I was lucky that event was not local. That wasn't with my normal club. I was attending KatsuCon in Washington, D.C.
KatsuCon.
Yeah.
Gotcha. We just got back from Otakon last weekend.
Nice. So I was going to KatsuCon, and there was an event nearby while I was at KatsuCon. So I went out to that race in Speed Racer, sort of in the middle of my KatsuCon day, or at the beginning, I guess, because they usually start pretty early.
What's KatsuCon?
It's an anime convention like Otakon.
Just curious.
Yep. So I was preparing for KatsuCon and decided that I wanted to go race, and I went out to race in Speed Racer and had quite a following.
You were very popular that day.
Yeah.
You got a lot of
But that was-
Instagram followers
That was
day.
back when I was racing an automatic Subaru Impreza, so my car was not quite as sexy.
You had to compensate somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Had to draw attention somehow.
You brought an automatic to a car meet. That's bold.
I did that for 8 of my 10 racing years.
Really?
Yep.
That's
So like I said, I got into racing literally when I got my license. My dad started as I was taking driver's ed. So I basically ran pit crew for him for about a year until I was legally allowed to sit in the driver's seat by myself. And then I've been racing ever since I got my license.
Great. Well,
So.
I'm glad that you brought us up Speed Racer.
Ooh, up to speed.
Are you ready to take the official maximum mediocrity pop quiz of race car driving?
Is anyone ever really ready, David?
No one's ever been ready.
That's why they call it a pop quiz.
Pop!
Hit me.
Question 1. Oh, I should tell you the rules first.
Okay.
If you get 3 out of 5 of these questions correct,
Okay.
then that means that we, as hosts, are bad at making pop quiz questions, even though Morgan had nothing to do with the writing of this.
I'm really
Where
glad you specified because I was going to say, I just suffer.
She just suffers.
Okay.
Because if that means that we're not very good at writing it, and that means we have to take an additional shot. However, if you do not get at least 3 questions correct, then you have to take an additional shot.
Okay.
Question 1. What is the name of Speed Racer's car?
The Mach 5.
Boom! She's on the board. Nice and easy. Question 2. Who designed the Mach 5?
His father.
I'll give it to you. Why not? Question.
What was your answer?
I can't tell you because I think
It's relevant.
I have that later on.
Okay. His father and brother.
Question 3. Speed's older brother Rex no longer lives with the racers. What happened to him in the TV series Speed Racer?
Ooh, he was supposedly in a car accident, but actually survived and is now Racer X.
Holy shit, she's good at this.
Dun, dun, dun.
That's already 3. We're fucked, Morgan. I just like this. I'm glad that
What
you've
happens
actually...
if I get all 5?
We've never had that. I don't think. I even have bonus questions.
Ooh,
so,
all
who
right.
knows?
Tiebreakers.
She's on... Morgan's
Morgan's
already getting the
already
shots ready.
doing the walk of shame to the alcohol counter.
What do you think the chances are that Morgan is going to do another shot of absinthe?
Low, according to her face. Oh, she pulled out the gin?
Beautiful pour, my Morgan.
Only one drop on the table.
Only half of the bottle is on the
Yeah.
table.
Right on top of the wings. So enjoy those later.
Morgan is also going to be doing a shot of gin with me,
Ooh.
out of solidarity, I assume.
Yeah, I assume.
my...
She just wants to suffer this whole night. All right.
Question number 4.
Yep.
In the series Speed Racer, Speed won every single race he participated in. True or false?
False.
Fucking 4 for 4! You are clearing this. We can't have anybody with degrees on this show anymore, Morgan. They're too smart. You'll get this one
My
immediately.
degrey in autocross.
Yes.
Oh,
And Speed
man.
Racer.
What is the name of the chimpanzee in Speed
Chim
Racer?
Chim.
Chim Chim!
5 for 5.
Holy shit. I have 2 bonus questions.
All right.
If you get these, I'll be very
These
impressed.
are all
I'm
right.
really surprised you have bonus questions.
Usually I don't need them because,
This feels like I'm setting myself up to be embarrassed.
this question is not about Speed Racer,
Oh, okay.
but it is about another race car TV show. In the cult classic street racing anime Initial D,
Yeah.
Deja vu. What is the make and model of the car that the protagonist uses?
It's a Panda. You know, I own like 2/3 of this manga, right?
Do you really?
Yeah.
The manga?
Yeah.
Did you notice he's wearing an Initial D shirt
I did
right
notice
now?
he's wearing an shit.
You can see it with your eyes.
It is a Panda. Starts with a T? No. All right, that's it. It's been too long since I've read this. Go.
So you give up?
I do.
Well, okay, thank God. We have stopped her onslaught of this quiz. It is the Trueno AE86.
Yeah, Panda Trueno. I was right. Starts with a T.
It starts with a T. Very nice. Here's another question about Initial D.
Okay.
You should be able. I hope you can get this one. What is written on the side of the car?
Ooh, the name of the shop that he works at, right? His dad's shop.
And what is the shop?
Oh, Jesus Christ!
If you can get the type of shop, I'll give it to you.
It is a food shop. Ramen?
Not quite,
Damn.
Hold on. Is it udon noodles?
It is not udon, but I will tell you this. I give you a damn good try, and that was better than
I
I thought.
really like Initial D, but it has been so long since I've actually...
I'm really glad you said that
Dive
because,
into it.
he has no one that knows
Yeah?
about it.
Yeah.
Have you watched the amazingly terrible anime with
watched the whole
perfect
thing.
90s 3D effects?
I watched
Absolutely.
some of it. I watched some of it, and I gotta tell you, it's hilarious to watch.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
the
Half
whole show
intentional,
to
half
me,
totally unintentional.
I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? And then the racing scene is just hilarity.
Yeah.
The music. And then just the visual effects that I'm seeing. Rainbows.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
It's a great show. I love
I
it.
liked it.
Me and Abby watched the whole thing.
I just want to let you know that all of the racing techniques in that show are bullshit.
Absolutely. 100% wrong.
100% would never work. In
The
real
Rotary
life.
Brothers. Who calls them the Rotary Brothers?
Who
Nobody calls
drops
them the
their
Rotary.
tire in the gutter?
Yeah,
Me.
yeah, to get faster.
It's me. I do that.
Horrible. But that's what makes it so good is because it's just so bad.
Yeah.
And it just tries to, they just take like racing words and they just input them
Oh, I
in
love
random
it.
places.
It's perfect. It's like racing Mad Libs.
So the correct answer is the Fujiwara Tofu Shop.
There we go. Tofu.
It's tofu.
Tofu. You have a shop dedicated to tofu.
Hey, it's Japan, man.
I guess so.
They eat a
I've
lot
tried
more
it.
tofu
I'm
than we do.
not crazy about it.
I like tofu.
How do you hate tofu? It doesn't taste like anything.
I didn't say I hated it. I just said I wasn't
Got such
crazy
a good
about it.
texture.
Stop being so hard on tofu, Morgan.
You can put it on
It's
your face
just-
if you
it's
really want
mushy.
to.
It's
Yep.
what?
Mushy.
Mushy.
Put it on your face.
Put it on your face.
Yeah.
Hot.
Right
Tofu
now.
mask.
I hope that came across.
No, that's funny because I actually was just thinking because we just moved to a new place, my roommate and I. And we have a lot more space now, so I'm bringing a lot more of my books and CDs out of storage. And I was just thinking about how I should move my Initial D manga out and into visible light again.
You should, because you got to give it another read now.
Apparently. Been
David,
too long.
should we take our shot of shame?
Oh, that's right. I forgot
Oh,
about the
shit.
shot of shame.
See, I feel like if I get all 5, I should pick what your shot of shame is.
No, it's too
Never.
late. I've poured it.
I know. Gin is okay. Gin would probably be what I picked.
Well, Morgan,
Bottoms up, baby.
bottoms
Nice
up.
knowing
and
you guys.
Liz, cheers. May your lap times be forever short.
Yeah, gin is terrible to shoot.
Oh, it's horrible to shoot. Maybe not as bad as absinthe.
Yeah? I mean, I wouldn't say absinthe is a sipping liquor either.
That's just a bad one to taste on your tongue. It's bad.
Who decided, you know what, I need to taste a fucking evergreen tree?
Yeah, wormwood.
I was gonna say I'm not really opposed to the way that gin tastes. I think it tastes kind of like almost citrusy.
Yeah, gin is a juniper berry.
I know. I played Skyrim.
Yeah, man.
The greatest thing that I like, the greatest cocktail that I like to do is just a simple gin and tonic, but you add a little bit of a lemon in there.
I like lime in mine. A little bit of
is
lime
good.
juice.
Lemon and lime both work. That way it kind of brings out those floral notes a little bit more. Ooh. That is the
I'm a
bee's
big
knees.
G&T kind of gal.
Are you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually bought tonic water just for this
Nice.
occasion, so if you want, afterwards we can get you one.
All
My
right.
favorite drink
Stave
is
off
a
that cold.
vodka tonic. I
Yeah?
mean, gin and tonic is like,
Basically the same
Hand in
thing.
hand.
Just tastes more like a tree.
and you know, who doesn't love trees?
Yep. I lick them all the time.
What's your favorite kind of tree?
Ooh, I actually have a favorite kind of tree.
I'm really glad.
Of course you do.
I really like dogwoods, which are a really simple looking little tree, but they're always so cute. And they do their best. And I like them so much.
I'm a real fan of those trees that have the leaves that look like little fans. I like those.
Ginkgos?
I'm a real
They
fan
smell
of
kind of bad.
I'm a real fan of those trees that have the fan leaves.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what they're called.
it's a
I just
ginkgo.
really get a kick out of
You're
those
looking at a
leaves.
ginkgo. They kind of stinky.
Who knows? I don't go around sniffing them. I just like to pick their leaves. That's what I do.
And lick them.
What are the trees that smell like semen?
I don't
What?
know, but I think those are maybe ginkgos.
I'll have to go
Ginkgos
and smell
terrible.
one.
What?
I don't know whether it's semen or not, but there are absolutely trees that smell like semen. I agree.
They smell like semen.
Yes.
Every time I'm driving down the road,
Yeah.
I'm like, semen?
Well, on my college's campus, they had them all over, and I was like, "Look, it's a college campus. It already smells like jizz. Like, we don't
just
need
out the window.
to we don't need to up the atmosphere."
Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
I agree.
Have you ever had that sushi that has like the salmon
Semen in
eggs on the salmon eggs on it?
I have.
Oh, raw?
Oh yeah.
I think that tastes like semen.
I could see that.
Tastes like semen.
Just like it.
I would be happier if semen were that salty or had that much flavor. It's mostly just terrible.
I don't ever get salty from semen.
No.
I always get like a bitter taste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, it's so salty.
I
And I
would
was like,
say-
have you ever put that on your mouth?
I would
Have
say out
you?
of all the flavors, yeah, semen is either bitter or possibly umami.
I don't eat that.
Yeah, so umami is the secret other flavor, which is like savory.
Isn't it soy? Just a soybean?
So like a soybean or a tomato or a steak or a mushroom.
Mm.
Yeah. Semen tastes like that, but terrible.
I've never once given a
Really
blowjob, and at the end, I'm like,
bad
that
steak."
tastes just like a steak.
I would love that.
I would do it. I mean, I would do it with even more gusto.
Ooh,
Even more if it
gusto.
tasted like a steak right at the end.
That
we're
is
gonna-
husband material right there.
We're gonna find you near the semen trees someday, buddy.
Just licking them.
Sounds like Morgan's going back to college.
Yeah.
Back? I never went.
Discussion about semen. Brought to you by the Maximum Mediocrity Podcast.
The moral of that story is suck your man's dick.
Suck your man's dick.
Even though it tastes nasty.
Even though it tastes nasty. Imagine it's a steak.
I always heard that depending on what a guy eats, that can change the
No, that's
flavor.
bullshit.
Really?
Yeah. I had a guy who used to drink a can of pineapple juice every time before I saw him.
It tasted
'Cause
exactly
he
the
knew
same
that
each
he
time.
needed to keep me. And it didn't do anything.
Nothing.
Not even a little.
So there was never a difference.
No,
in
it just
taste.
always tastes terrible.
Huh. There's no different types of terrible.
No.
No different taste.
Maybe different people taste a little different, but not even that
Yeah.
much different.
Have you ever gotten somebody that has like clumpy semen?
No. I can't say I have.
I experienced it recently and I'm just
Ooh.
blown away. I was like, whoa.
That
Shout out to that guy.
You know, like normally I would swallow. I don't know that I could stomach like weird oatmeal semen.
It's not my favorite. It's not my
I don't
favorite.
think I could do that.
You couldn't swallow you. You couldn't swallow it. You'd have to chew.
Oh,
Chew up
is
the
that like
babies.
a dehydration thing? Like,
I don't know, man.
chug some water, buddy.
I guess I'd have
We
to
gotta
give
get
him a
back
call.
into this. Hey, buddy, how much water do you drink generally?
Maybe drink more water.
or pineapple juice. Maybe it'll work.
Whatever
for you.
floats your boat.
I think that after this, I think I'm going to call him and record that conversation. That'll be the outro to this. But not tell him about it. I don't have a follow-up question that could easily
About
segue
semen?
into that. That was amazing.
So I recently went to Niagara Falls,
Speaking of semen,
and it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my
Yeah?
life.
I've never been.
The pure power. It was just magnificent. I don't have words for what I saw. I was speechless when I saw it, and I still have no words.
That was still a lot of innuendos in one sentence.
Morgan has flicked her tongue at the guest.
I told you, I will never share the pussy.
What
all these all for? All these questions are now rendered useless. So I have a question about car culture.
Yes, jumping back in.
Man.
So speaking of semen, I have questions about car culture.
Okay.
And about essentially, car culture is a dick measuring contest.
Oh, absolutely.
I have a question about car modifications that are purely aesthetic and not racing related.
Okay.
That don't have practical applications anymore. How do you feel about darkened taillights?
I think that, speaking as someone who's very safety minded,
Foolish.
for what I do, that's a terrible idea.
Gotcha.
Woof.
Is there any upside to that?
I mean, I guess if you're trying to sneak up on someone in reverse, but
I do that a lot. I should look into this. You probably shouldn't get the reverse noise. I
think if you're gonna darken anything, it should be your headlights.
Right?
I'm sneaking up on you.
Some people need
Everyone's
that.
buying aftermarket headlights lately, and they've
They're just blue light. I hate it.
well, they've lapsed regulations on headlights recently, within the past few years maybe, and so that's why I don't know if you've noticed that headlights seem to be brighter these days, but they genuinely are brighter.
I can
So
never
it
tell
used
if
to be-
anybody's flashing the high beams
Yeah.
at me. I just
I don't
assume
know
they
if
have
people
them
are
on
just
all the
driving
time.
with their high beams on, yeah. So there used to be a lot stricter limitations on your lumen output, and they've recently relaxed those restrictions. So a lot of people are now, there's a lot of new headlights are flooding the market from manufacturers who are not beholden to that, and they're cheap and people are buying them.
And really, it's also a problem with they're just not angled correctly.
Yeah.
Like, they're always angled so forward. They're supposed to be angled
Yes.
slightly down.
Yep.
And that way
Down and slightly to the side, because you're supposed to get cast off on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
But people don't know that. They just replace the headlights, and that's it. And that's what causes this blinding effect when you're driving at night.
Is it like this in every car? Isn't there like a little like Allen key you stick in and you adjust it that way? The way your headlights point?
I have not ever needed to.
In my,
That's in some.
Yeah.
I was
But
gonna
not
say in
all.
my Jetta.
I feel like probably in a newer car that's less likely.
Because in my Jetta, it was a 2000,
Mhm.
I think, 3 at the time. When I got it, the headlights pointed like almost directly down at the road, and it was horrendous.
Useless. Yeah.
I couldn't drive that way.
It was very polite to everybody else.
Yeah.
No, I bet everybody loved that.
Okay, another car modification.
Okay.
A car that's lowered so low that it scrapes when you drive over a pebble.
I hate that. Tell me there is no use for that.
Yeah. So there's use to that to a point, but there are definitely people who go well beyond that point. And for the kind of racing that I do, or for autocross racing, it's absolutely miserably useless because you have no control over the quality of the pavement you're driving on. You're driving in someone else's parking lot. Maybe if you were driving on a drag strip, a dedicated drag strip or an actual racetrack, you could get away with that because you could expect the paving to be smooth and level. But for what we do, oh my God, you would ruin the undercarriage of your car.
Perfect. Tires that are too small for the aftermarket rims that they buy, so the rims stick out.
That's just dumb.
It's
What's
just
the
dumb.
point? I mean, how bad are you going to can open your tire at some point? Because you know that the people who do that are also the people who camber their tires to
Yes.
Kingdom Come.
What's
So
that?
So camber is you there's a bolt in your tires or in the axle of your tires that tightens or loosens, and you can adjust that to adjust the angle of your tires against the road.
It's when the tires are
Yep.
angled outwards.
Yep.
on the
Is
bottom.
there a point to that?
So there is, again, to a point,
Slightly, right?
there is a use to that. For the type of racing that I do, it can be useful to camber slightly because we're doing a lot of turning. And since when you're turning, you are more heavily on your outside set of tires, if you can get the flatter surface of your tires to be on the road at the time, while you're turning, you can get better traction and have a better line coming out of the turn. You can keep more control through the turn.
That's pretty neat.
So there is some use to it, but it does mean also that then when you're driving in a straight line, you're driving on the edge of your tire or, not quite the middle of your tire, depending on how hard you camber.
It's very little surface area
Yeah.
that's touching. The
Yep.
tires isn't hitting the surface as
Yep.
much because it's angled.
I mean, you'll know, so for the type of, for like NASCAR racing. The tires will be cambered specifically to support the direction of turning that they will be doing for their, 100 laps of quarter-mile track. So
Seems
that's
mind-numbing.
it is.
It is very mind-numbing.
But it's actually really interesting to watch. So I went to a NASCAR race for the first time a few years ago, and that was after I'd been racing for probably about 5 years at that point.
Oh, nice. Where did you go?
So down to Dover Speedway.
Dover Speedway,
Yep.
great speedway.
Yep.
The Monster Mile.
The classic. Coincidentally, that's also where I autocross, except in the parking lot. Not on the track. They do not have a good parking lot for autocross, but it's big.
The inside's great.
Yeah, the inside's great, outside's terrible. But anyway, so I went to a NASCAR race at Dover Speedway and expected to be sort of bored by it because every time I watched it on TV, it was just, oh, this guy's passing that guy. Oh, that guy's passing this other guy now. But it was actually really interesting. And I don't know if that was from speaking from a racing standpoint, being able to pick up on the actual technical skills that they were employing while driving. But it was a lot more interesting to be able to sort of, rather than just get the highlight reel, pick a driver and watch that driver work up through the ranks.
I see.
And overcome each challenge, each car that was ahead of him. And not always by doing the same thing, not always just by driving faster,
Because they're all driving faster.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that negates that.
Yep. So there's really, there's a lot of skill in it. I actually have a lot of respect for the NASCAR guys.
Do you think people in NASCAR get too much shit? But do you think it's just an easy out, like an easy joke at this point?
There's definitely an element there, but I think that there's also a lot of attention that's focused on NASCAR and to an extent Formula One. And I think that if we could publicize some of the more technical driving events like autocross, like rallycross, that would be interesting too, to see what that much more publicized professional scene would be like, for sure.
Gotcha.
So, is Talladega Nights anywhere near accurate?
Well, it's not accurate for autocross,
But for NASCAR.
unsurprisingly. Having never been a NASCAR driver
Look,
or
real
Sacha Baron Cohen,
real questions, did you like the movie?
can I say that I've never seen it?
Okay, that's fine too.
I should, though.
Don't
But
put that hate on my-
that's gotta wait until after the initial D rewatch.
You have to watch Initial D.
Absolutely.
It's just as horrible as you think, and it's beautiful to watch.
I'm not sure how you haven't seen
Liz,
Talladega.
if you come over, we'll binge watch it with you.
Absolutely.
I would absolutely watch
I'm into it.
Initial D again.
It was on Netflix for a
I'm
while,
gonna
right?
need to be there.
Yeah, we have Crunchyroll and we have Funimation
Perfect.
subscription, and it's on there. And
Perfect.
it's fucking beautiful to
Nice.
watch again. Do you like Danica Patrick?
Yeah, I think she's a very skilled driver.
Very skilled driver. She is a NASCAR driver. For our listeners who do not know, she's the only female NASCAR driver.
Believe so.
Or previously, she just retired.
Yep.
How old is she? Do you know?
I do not know, but do you know
Not
what she's
very.
doing now that she's retired?
I
Sucking
don't.
dicks?
I don't follow her very well.
She makes wine.
Oh, wow.
She makes wine. She bought a winery.
All right.
And is doing that. And actually, one of the reasons that I wanted to bring you in was because I listened to a few interviews with her. One on the Joe Rogan podcast, another on WTF with Mark Maron.
Okay.
And I don't like her.
No?
I just don't like her as
Like
a person.
as a personality?
Personality. She doesn't know anything about the goddamn car she's driving.
Do you have to?
You don't have to,
You
but
have to know how to drive them.
I just assumed, yeah, you know how to drive them, right? But, she gets very frustrated with her machine that she doesn't understand, it seems. Also, she lost one sponsor, and that's when she decided that she was going to be out.
Okay.
Maybe it's just that it's a personality clash thing
Okay.
where I just listened to her and I was like, I don't really like this person. Still a phenomenal driver, but I'd like to know your opinion on Danica Patrick a little bit more.
Well, so I haven't followed her as a public figure very much. I've seen a bit of her driving, and I think that being the only woman in NASCAR for so long was definitely an accomplishment in and of itself.
Absolutely.
But I think her driving is fairly skillful. And I can tell you I would love to be her.
Would you be a NASCAR driver if you were given the opportunity?
I think I would. Why not? I'm not going to make the same money autocrossing, am I?
It's very true.
No, but I think, like I said, I think NASCAR has a lot more skill than a lot of people give it credit for. And I think it would be very interesting to give that a shot. I was going to say, when you mentioned that she was the only woman in NASCAR, I've heard recently there is I don't know if she's NASCAR, but there is another female racer who's been getting a lot more attention lately. I don't remember what her name is. But I'm really excited to see a lot more women coming out, because we're seeing that even in the more amateur scene. We are seeing like a lot of women are, you know, coming out, and even on their own. You know, it's not like they're coming out with their boyfriends or with their families or whatever. There's just, they like it. They're coming out and racing.
How do you think you get more women in autocross?
By being visible.
Being visible.
I mean, I've been with the club that I've been racing with for 10 years now, and I'm the one they come to when they when we do get novice female drivers who come out and they want an instructor, they come to me.
Very approachable, Liz. I get it.
I appreciate it. So I think that just being, and doing what Danica did for NASCAR, just being visible and being supportive of other women racing, you know, like I do a lot of administrative work with the club as well. A lot of registering drivers to drive each day. So I get a chance to talk with a lot of the girlfriends and a lot of the daughters and a lot of the people like that. And I'm always trying to get people to come out, or trying to get women to come out more.
Interesting.
Yep.
And what is, just before I forget, what is the group that you do race with?
I race with the Brandywine Motorsport Club. So they're a local chapter, or a local independent club. I've also raced with the Philly Sports Car Club of America, the SCCA, when they raced around here, but they no longer run close enough to home for me.
And what is do you find them on Facebook? Can you find them on Instagram?
Yeah,
Where do you find them?
So we have Brandywine Motorsport Club. We are brandywinemotorsportclub.org, and we have a Facebook club, the Brandywine Motorsport Club. We run a lot of our event schedules through Facebook and online. So if you ever do have an interest, if you're local and want to come out, we would love to see you.
Awesome. Great. And I want to ask you also a little bit more about being a female in race car driving, because it is definitely a boys' club right now.
Absolutely.
So how do you? I know you said that having just more women in it will promote more women to come in it. How do you think that you get to that point? Like, how do you make it more accessible to women?
Sure.
Because it is so man generated.
Well, I think that being
#angry headlights everywhere.
I think that sort of demonstrating that because I'll be very honest, I don't have the level of technical knowledge that a lot of the men a lot of even the people I race with, women and men, do have, because a lot of these people are mechanics. They work at body shops, they work at mechanics, or they run, they build custom caterhams for people. And that's not the level of interest that I have in a car. I like to be able to work on my own car and not too much more than that. So I'm never going to approach that level of knowledge. So I think really being able to demonstrate to, a woman who's thinking about driving, that I don't necessarily have to be a total gearhead to have fun, and to value the skills that autocross develops as a driver. Because there are a lot of, technical driving skills that you really don't get a chance to practice on the road. When are you ever going to have to avoid hopefully you never have to avoid an obstacle at 45 miles an hour.
Hopefully.
On the regular road. But when you do, autocross prepares you for it.
Do you feel like that because it's a boys' club, you do have to kind of compromise with them a little bit about them not understanding your point of view in some circumstances?
I haven't actually really run into that. For the most part, I think that guys want to date girls who have the same interests they do. Same as girls want to date guys who have the same interests they do. And guys dating guys and girls dating girls. But anyway.
Everybody's happy.
Guys love
the dating.
I've mostly seen that men are very happy to have a girl who does like cars and does like doing what they're doing. Someone they don't have to drag out to see.
That's awesome.
But even then, there's a ton of just supportive girlfriends too who don't really ever want to drive, but do just like really enjoy coming out and watching or riding along. Even we usually run probably 6 to 8 times throughout the course of a day, and I think myself in particular, I probably got a passenger along for 5 or 6 of those between instructing and taking ride-alongs just to get spectators more interested. So anyway, but to get back to the point, I haven't really had a lot of conflict about being a girl. A lot more of it was about my age when I was younger, because I was, I've been doing it since I was 16. So I would have a lot of people who would assume that I didn't really know much about the sport at 19 or 20, and they would, tell me all about how they've been racing for a year and a half, and they know so much, and they've done so many things. I was like, really?
So hardcore.
So,
year and a half they're in.
Yeah, a year and a half in. So
Sign up
I
for
would have a
NASCAR.
lot to say about, oh, that's really great. I'm so glad that you've been doing that for so long. Next year's going to be my 5th year, so we'll see. So that was really more of the conflict, I think.
Isn't that just like kind of satisfying
Oh,
to just rub in
absolutely.
their face that
'Cause
you've been
there's- I
doing
mean,
it
you'll-
longer, better than them?
I say I haven't had too much experience with, conflicting points of view. But I'll definitely have the guys who would love to tell me all about how big race car drivers they are and all the fun things they've done to their cars, and then I absolutely outlap them by like 5 seconds, which is
buddy.
huge in racing.
That's got to be satisfying as hell.
Oh yeah.
That's got to be the most satisfying thing
Especially
ever.
the older guys, when you get like a 50-year-old, 60-year-old dude who's telling you all about his car and how, how much he's done to it and how much he loves to drive it and how he's been doing this for 3 years. And then you tell him about how, 8 years ago when you'd been doing this for 3 years, you felt the same way. And that's a fun little expression that they make.
That's good. But generally, it's been a supportive community.
Absolutely.
That's good to hear. Because I was always worried when I had you on. I was afraid that it was going to be a very. I did an interview with Morgan one time. She's an electrician, and it's a man's world. And I remember her telling me about the kind of like the world that she enters, and you kind of have to compromise a little bit. These are people that older white guys that don't have that exposure to women in the workplace or women in the trades, and therefore they don't really know how to handle it, and therefore they get a little misogynistic a lot of times. But I
You
guess,
gotta roll with the punches, man.
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't mean to speak for you over here, Morgan, but yeah, you have to roll with the punches. And so I was scared that when I brought you on that you were just going to tell me that it's this big misogynistic dick measuring contest constantly. So I'm happy to hear that it's more accessible than maybe people think.
Yeah.
And we should absolutely encourage more women to follow their hobbies, even if it does happen to be in a world where or a community that is male generated.
Absolutely. And I would I would encourage anyone who has an interest in the idea at all. The real benefit of autocross as a motorsport is that it is so accessible. You can drive the car that you drive to work every day, be it as long as it's not an SUV or a truck. But
I got a Kia Soul. What do you think?
we'd have to. There's a calculation. We have to see if it meets height requirement.
Telling you, I'm gonna
See if
rip
you're
it
a
up.
rollover risk. I think you could
would
rip it
be
up in a
awesome,
Kia
though.
Soul. I mean, if nothing else, you don't care about it, so you can just throw it around, right?
I mean, I love it. It's my new car. It's actually in the shop right now, getting replaced, getting fixed.
So you've already broken it.
A lot of times.
Several times. New car. But no, so the big benefit of autocross is that it is accessible. It's a sport that you can bring your daily driver to, even if it's an automatic hatchback with groceries in the back, like I drove for 9 years.
Nice.
So I would encourage anyone who's interested to come out. It's a really supportive community, and I think that given that it's not one of the flashier motorsports, we're always looking for new people who are interested.
So I overheard. She'll deny it, but I overheard Morgan saying that she wanted to get more involved
Ooh.
in racing.
Ooh.
So if she was to dip her toes into that world and to become I want to say professional race car driver, but let's set the bar high. What are your top tips to help her out to get her started?
Ooh, well, drive a lot. Drive for fun. Offer to drive your friends everywhere.
I love to drive places.
And don't
I
be
love to go on long drives on the weekend, see the most beautiful things.
And don't be afraid to practice while you're doing that. The number of times that I have thrown a screaming carload of people around a sharp turn is not zero. But just, I think really having the passion for driving is important, and enjoying driving in and of its own sake, and not feeling like you do need to know all the ins and outs of your car to drive it well, because a lot of it ends up being muscle memory. A lot of it is just driving your car well enough or often enough that you know how it drives. And I mean, that's what it was with the Subaru. I like I said, I drove an automatic Impreza, which is a hatchback, or mine was a hatchback.
Believe it or not, I was in a pretty serious accident in the exact same car.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, they're fairly safe cars. Are you
I'm-
okay?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I
Okay.
just super didn't like it.
The car?
No, the accident.
Well, that's fair.
You mean you didn't love getting into an accident?
Oh, no.
Everybody
Oh,
says that.
I did great. I did so good.
Somebody rear-ended me the other day, which is
Oof.
why my car's in the shop.
Yeah.
And I just about to scream my goddamn head off. So I can
Absolutely.
only imagine being in a serious accident.
Yeah.
I
everybody
wasn't
was
even the
fine.
driver.
Oh, no. Someone wrecked your car? you
No,
in
it
it?
wasn't my car.
Okay.
But it was awful, all the same.
I mean, did that scare you off of anything?
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
I just wanted to talk about it because it happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you're okay. You're not, like, permanently injured or anything.
Actually,
Mildly maimed.
I'm 3 inches shorter now.
Well, I think we've established I like them small, so. But I would say just don't be afraid to try and see what your car can do. And I think autocross is a really safe venue for that because at worst you're going to hit like a curb or a cone, maybe another person.
It is great because you get to drive a car aggressively in a safe manner.
Exactly.
You finally get to let out all that steam and just fucking put it to the floor.
Mhm.
That's got to be a great feeling.
Oh, absolutely. If there's one thing that you can do in an autocross course, it's really just let loose. I mean, you still want to drive well if you're trying to win, or you can just spin your car around the entire course for 60 seconds straight. It's really up to you.
That sounds awesome.
But we are pretty safety conscious, so we specifically design courses to keep you away from the worst obstacles or the worst hazards that are, in whatever venue we are racing. And we're very safety conscious with our people as well. We do ask that the people who come out to our races volunteer as course workers to put up or to put back any cones or anything that a racer might have hit.
Yeah.
So, do you drive your car that you race daily?
Yes. Well, so I did in the Impreza. That was my commuting and racing car. I have actually recently switched to a daily driver and a race car, which is when I bought the Miata. So that's what I drive now. But I mean, obviously, it's a Miata, so it's still something that I can drive and do drive, on a nice day on the street.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but how much did the Miata set you back?
About $3,400. So it's a 2000 Miata. It's still stock, but it has had a lot of its factory parts upgraded to a little nicer stuff.
Gotcha.
Got nice tires on it, but it was a great deal for that car.
You can probably get a car dedicated to racing for about anywhere between $1,000 to about that much. About
Absolutely.
$3,500. Okay, just want to make sure. Just so people know an entry point into getting into this.
I mean, or you can, again, drive the car that you already have.
Yeah. But I mean, if somebody wanted to
Yes, if you wanted to get
dedicated
a
driving
race car, I would say if you're looking to spend, $1,000, $1,200 on it, I would expect to want to put in a little work to get it race ready.
have a friend who knows how to use a wrench.
But I would say anything from $3,000 to $5,000 for a car that will be competitive from the go.
And that'll set you for quite a while.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. So I got my car for $3,400, but it's bone stock besides.
Tasteful upgrades.
Yeah, besides tasteful upgrades. My dad actually bought his off another club member, and it's been upgraded with a supercharger and some additional work under the hood just to keep it running cooler than it normally will, so it doesn't overheat. Just a little bit of work like that, and his was only about $5,000, which is still, I mean, for an entry level car.
And that's a car you can drive.
Yeah, that's a car that he takes to work sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Whereas, a lot of the other motorsports, like we've recently started affiliating with a drift club for state drift. And drifting is a blast, let me tell you. I mean, I've drifted around an autocross course once or twice. But it can be a little harder to get into because of the wear on the tires that you're using for it. So a lot of people, I mean, are buying tires for every drift event because they've worn their last one to shreds.
Wow, new set of tires.
Not
every
usually
time.
a new set of tires. I mean,
Or
no one wants to destroy a new set of tires. That's way too much. But I mean, I know a guy, the guy with the S2000 has gotten into drifting recently, and he's buying from his friends and his car connections. He's buying like 2 to 3 sets of used tires every event, and ruining them, ripping them to shreds.
That sounds awful.
But he I went around in his passenger seat a couple times the last event, and I actually got hit with a piece of his tire that came in through the window.
Holy shit!
So that was pretty fun. But
Didn't
drifting's
hurt.
a blast. You should do drifting also if you're interested. But again, it's just there can be a higher price point
Okay, that
starting
makes sense.
out.
I just wanted to put an update on like the misogynist, like the
Oh, the
anti-woman
misogynist
thing in
electricians.
my field.
Yep.
I actually encountered another woman. It wasn't another electrician. She cuts plastic, but she came up to me and assumed that I cleaned.
Oh!
So it was from another woman.
It was from another woman. I just thought it was very interesting to see how it isn't just a gender thing. It's just a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is just, so it doesn't matter what gender you are. People just assume, no matter what.
Societal.
I've been doing this for 5 years, so it was very interesting to have another woman come up to me and assume that I'm just somebody that cleans up after my male coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yikes.
And did you set her ass straight?
Absolutely, I did. I was
Fucking
like,
right you did.
you see me putting up these lights, girl? You know what I'm about.
So we like to play a game around here.
Okay.
It's a word association game.
Okay.
It's a very quick game. And the idea is that we go in a circle, or in this case, a triangle, in which somebody says the first word that comes to their head, and the person if I was doing it, you would say the first word that you can think of based off of my word.
Oh boy.
And then Morgan is going to think of the first word that she can think based off of your word,
Okay.
and then it just keeps going. So it's just a quick word association game.
Okay.
And the two ways that you lose is either you repeat a word that somebody else has used or yourself has used, or if you take too long to answer.
Okay.
Very quick game, and you just start with one word. Sometimes we've been a little liberal with phrases recently, but, do the best you can.
Sure.
There's no losers. We just have fun here. Just to...
Despite the 2 ways to lose that we just discussed.
Exactly. There's no losers unless you're a loser, because, that's how the world works. I'm going to start, and then second round you can start, and then the third round Morgan is going to start.
Perfect.
All right. My word is apples.
Sauce.
Oranges.
Grapes.
Bananas.
Peels.
Potassium.
K.
K?
That is the symbol, periodic symbol for potassium.
Oh, okay. Magnesium.
Ooh.
Potassium. I already used potassium. God damn, I need to learn more things. You can go next.
All right. Panda.
Bear.
Red.
Blue.
Green.
Yellow.
Orange.
Purple.
Grapes.
Rainbow. I was still stuck on
Double
Morgan's word.
rainbow.
YouTube.
Why?
Red.
That was very
We already used red. God damn it.
Hats.
Feet.
Shoes.
Socks.
Shoot. Fuck. Oh, damn it. I said choose again. Well, Liz, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I know this was a bit of a scheduling issue to get you on because apparently I'm a busy guy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was so busy.
You're
when
too
I
popular
imagine,
for me.
When I imagine my own life, it's just me sitting on my couch checking Reddit for hours on end. But you have shown me when trying to schedule that I apparently am a busy
At
guy.
least on Saturdays when I race.
Exactly. It's always a Saturday thing. So we definitely have people. I'll definitely come out and see to see you race. I think it is incredible, and I want to support this. Could you tell people again where you race? What is the organization?
Sure. So I race with Brandywine Motorsport Club. We run races at Dover's Downs in Dover, Delaware. And our next race is September 24th, I believe. But you can find us on Facebook or at brandywinemotorsportclub.org. So check us out.
Great. Well, once again, thank you very much for coming on the show. And stay woke, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Morgan.
You're welcome.